Hi, and welcome to this monthly astrology forecast for January 2026. Let's see what this month has in store for us. Here we have the chart for January 2026. Now, this year begins with January 1, where Mercury enters Capricorn. And when Mercury, the planet of communication, enters the earthly sign of Capricorn, it invites us to think clearly, logically, and realistically, and to also be realistic about our goals for the year ahead. So actually, Mercury entering Capricorn on January 1 is really perfect for setting our goals, especially long-term goals and goals that are really realistic and achievable. So this is a moment to commit to what you truly want to build in this year and to think about how you can reach your goals step by step. So you could actually make a timeline for the goals that you have and what steps you need to take to eventually reach your goal. On January 3rd, we have the full moon in Cancer. Now, as you may know, when we have a full moon, the moon is always in the opposite sign compared to the sun, which means that when we have the sun in Capricorn, the moon will be in Cancer. So this is a full moon in Cancer, and this is a very emotional moon because it brings up emotions, and especially around family, around the place where we live, the place where we want to live, and about our emotional safety. So it's a lot about emotional safety compared to boundaries, because of course the Capricorn energy is involved, and Capricorn is always about boundaries. So what comes up now around January the 3rd may show you what you need to take care of, considering self-care and also the boundaries, of course. So it's about nurturing your emotions and to set boundaries to the emotions. Okay, then we go to January the 17th. This is a beautiful day because this is when Venus will enter Aquarius. Now, I always love Venus in Aquarius because I have Venus in Aquarius in my birth chart, so I'm very familiar with that energy. Now, Venus, the planet of love, enters the energy of companionship, brotherhood. It's also a bit of the rebel energy, of course. So Venus in Aquarius shifts our relationships toward a really honest attitude, to align with freedom and being authentic in our relationships. On January 18, we have the new moon in Capricorn. Now, we've already mentioned Capricorn as the energy of focusing our goals. Now, with the new moon in Capricorn, it's time to plant a seed. And I mean to take one step of action towards our goal. So if you have been thinking about your goals for the coming year, then January 8 with the new moon energy, it's a good thing to take one little step towards your goal and to set the intention that you are reaching your goals smoothly and gracefully. Now, on January 20, the Sun and Mercury are both moving into Aquarius, so there's a lot of electricity in this energy. When the Sun and Mercury move into Aquarius, it opens our perspective towards the future and new possibilities. So this is an energy where we can release our limitations and to set our mindset to see possibilities, see the momentum, and to think in options instead of limitations. Now, you may also find that when the Sun and Mercury are both in Aquarius, that you seem to talk about subjects and get ideas very quickly, as if you just tap into the field, into the universal field, where all information is being stored and you just receive the knowledge that you need at a certain moment. So this energy will encourage you to think differently and to speak your truth more freely. So there's a lot of energy this month about being authentic. And of course, this is also because we have a lot of Aquarius energy going around. And this will be emphasized on January 23 when Mars will move into Aquarius. Now, when we see Aquarius as the energy of awakening, but also it has this electrical charge, and Aquarius is related to technology, of course. Now, Mars can build up the tension towards everything that's related to electricity, technology, but also our awakening. So, Mars in Aquarius is actually very much of a rebel energy, and it invites us to have the courage to be in alignment with our values. And I particularly mean those kind of values that may not fit in with the mainstream. So, again, Aquarius is the energy of being authentic. Now, you may feel the calling to make some bold changes this month, and especially when Mars enters Aquarius. And there's a lot of, how do you say that, impulsive energy in this aspect. So it's good to focus on your grounding a bit when Mars is in Aquarius. And if you have built up some emotional tension, then make sure that you release that tension, because Mars in Aquarius tends to do that quite unexpectedly. So it's as if our electrical tension needs to be grounded. So, okay. Actually, it's a good time to, walk in nature, be in nature, or have a massage, and to ground your energy. Now, this is not really the energy of compromising, so it's really the energy of focusing on yourself. So while you are doing that, you you better do keep an eye on finding that middle point between two people, finding the balance. Now, we have one major transit on January 26, because this is when Neptune enters the sign of Aries. Neptune has been in the sign of Pisces for so long, and many years. And in Pisces, it was in its own energy, so Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. So it was comfortable in that energy. But for Piscean people, it was also very testing, we could say, and challenging. Now Neptune is moving into the sign of Aries, and this gives a totally different energy for people who have sun, moon, or rising sign in Pisces, but also those who have sun, moon, or rising sign in Aries. Now, Neptune is about letting go of boundaries, it's about unity consciousness, it's about enlightenment, it's about feeling the oneness with the people around you, but also with the universe, with God. It's a very spiritual planet, a very spiritual energy. Now, when it enters the sign of Aries, it gets this fire energy, right? And this means that it also reaches the axis mundi. So, because the 0 point Aries is the starting point of the zodiac, and it's kind of the point in the zodiac where there's a reset, a new cycle begins. So, Neptune entering the sign of Aries at 0 degrees, that will truly give a new energy on a personal level, but also for the collective, because Neptune is a collective planet. Because it moves so slowly, it means that it gives its influence, its energy to generations of people. Now, when we look at the last time when Neptune was in Aries, there was a civil war going on in the US. And so there's a lot of energy that has this warrior energy, what Aries is bringing us, of course. But Neptune is the need to follow our ideals, to follow our religious system or spiritual ideas. So, what we can see when Neptune enters Aries, we can have a lot of, strong emotions in groups, especially around religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. And this may really lead to whole um, well, reformant, let's say. So, as Neptune is also the energy of our ideals and our dreams, in the energy of Aries, it is asking for action and to make decisions, to look at our desires. What do we want? What do we really want? From a soul perspective, because Neptune is really the higher energy of the soul. So it is as if the higher energies of our soul are literally coming on earth, entering the very, well, warrior type like energy of Aries. So this does ask for patience, because this is really an impulsive energy again with Aries. So we can really test our patience and also our intuition. Now, Neptune in Aries is also kind of inviting us to act on our intuition, and while at the same time staying aware of the difference between inspired action and impulsive action. And this is also the energy that makes us look at illusion versus reality. And we will have more of that when Saturn will join Neptune in Aries in February. But we will talk about that later in another video. Okay, so then we have January 27, and this is also a very significant day because Mars is conjunct Pluto at 3° Aquarius. So, especially people who have important planets at the first degrees of air signs or in Leo, they may feel this energy of Mars conjunct Pluto. Mars is kind of igniting the planet that it is in conjunction with. So Pluto as the energy, the need for transformation, is also the energy of alchemy. It kind of awakens the fire within. So it really is about the true awakening, and to feel that awakening coming from the heart space, the, well, what triggers our passion, what is our soul's desire. So yes, this can give a lot of awakening energy, but this is kind of a raw energy. Mars conjunct Pluto is very intense. It can be very, well, even brutal, I think. There's a lot of energy that is asking us to look at our anger management, for example. And how do we deal with anger? Do we allow ourselves to be angry in a healthy way, that is? So it's kind of a fire energy, isn't it? Mars in the sign of Aquarius. And fire is really the theme for this year. We have entered a fire year where so many planets are entering either Aquarius, which has this electrical air energy, but also many planets move into Aries, which is fire, of course. So it's quite interesting that this year tragically started with fire. When we look at the tragedy that happened in Switzerland, where so many young people died in a fire, very, very tragic. And here in the Netherlands, we had the Vondel Church that set fire. And although the Netherlands is quite a small country, I think to this country it's kind of similar to what happened to the Notre Dame. So interesting that as this is a fire year, this year started off with major fires. Now, fire has also the ability to transform things and to clear the air, to clear energy. So when I say that this is a fire year, it doesn't mean that we will have fires all over the place. No, fire is also the energy of inspiration. It's the energy that cleanses our soul, it cleanses the body. Look at our body when we have a fever. It's the internal fire that is cleansing the body from viruses or bacteria. So fire is also clearing old energy. which can really help us to make a new start. And I think that this is what this year is all about, to make new start. And so we will see more of that in the videos that will come this year. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you next month. And before I forget, I want to remind you that when you subscribe to my website, to my newsletter at quantumstarportal.com, you will receive a monthly overview with the planetary energies. And in January, I will also add a report how the energies are sign by sign. So I would encourage you to subscribe to my newsletter. And I also want to mention that in 2025, I have created my astrology videos for quantumhealers.com. And I want to thank Candace Craw-Goldman for the opportunity that she gave me to share my astrology videos on her website, on her channel. And this year I will be sharing my monthly astrology reports on my personal website and on my personal YouTube channel, which is also quantumstarportal.com. And you can find it, of course, below. Thank you so much, and see you next time.